I'm talking to Fran Chammings from West Berkshire Foodbank, and you understandably have had the most incredibly busy time, very sadly, over the last 3 months during the lockdown. Is it right, I've heard that 4 times as many people are currently using Foodbank at the moment than prior to lockdown?
Yes, we've had a fourfold increase since the start of this. From the 23rd of March, we've obviously kept all our facts and figures. So yes, a 400% increase. Huge amount of families are coming that we hadn't seen before. So yes, it's quite a worrying time for a lot of people. Thankfully people have reached out to the food banks in the area or support, and yes, we've had a huge increase in demand.
So you've had an increase, and these might be families where both parents are furloughed, so they've probably seen 20 plus 20% drop in their income, plus the kids who would normally be fed at school, they've got at home. Or single parents who would normally work during the school day but can't because they've got a child to look after. I mean,
Absolutely.
It's incredibly difficult.
It is, incredibly difficult for so many people, and so many people that have never had to use a food bank or get support like this before. One of the surprising ones for me has been how so many people budget. So using the more sort of budget supermarkets that don't tend to do home deliveries, is people aren't able to do their usual shopping after sort of getting a 20% decrease, or a change in benefits or things like that. We've also had a lot of unfortunately sort of marriage breakdowns or partnership breakdowns, so where there's been a lot of pressure on people, and so we've had that. So the father or the mother have left, and one's left at home with the kids, and as you say, the kids not going to school. It took quite a few weeks for the vouchers to come out from the school vouchers, which has now been sorted. But I was speaking to a mother recently that she gets her £15 per child because she's shielded, but she can't go out to spend it. So yes, lots of people that you don't expect. Lots of older people, again, that the £40 minimum delivery charge on their shopping is actually more than what they have, and they're very proud, and they haven't got people to do it for them, so that's where the food bank steps in and supports those in financial crisis.
So in terms of how people approach you to get help, there has been a misconception, which I have to confess I've been guilty of, that there was a kind of quite a rigorous referral and means testing process. But actually, is it fair to say that West Berkshire is actually the only county that has a crisis line that anybody can call to ask for help?
Absolutely, in West Berkshire, absolutely. So Andrew Bruce, who set up the food bank, West Berkshire Food Bank, quite a while ago, is quite a pioneer. So yes, he set up the crisis food line, because what would usually happen is you would come into a food bank when the distribution centres are open, you chat with somebody and somebody would ask you questions. And a lot of the volunteers weren't happy about prying into people's information. And those questions aren't tough. They are, why are you in financial crisis? And most people are just saying, I've been furloughed, my husband's been furloughed, there isn't enough money coming in. And immediately we know what the situation is, and we'll just go through the rest of the process. So you actually phone through to a telephone number, you speak to a human being who are trained by the food bank, who are lovely. I quite often sort of speak to them, and they're happy people, and they will ask your name, address, they will ask how many people are in your household, so we know how much food to send to you, and then they will ask you sort of, why are you calling us? And that is as tough as the question gets. Okay. And people are very, very honest, and very, very open normally. If it went on for a very long time, then I would have tougher questions, because it's important that those people get the support that they need.
The long-term support, so you're a quick fix. But so how many weeks, so if somebody calls you, how many weeks food are they likely to get once they've made that call?
So they can get, it's an ongoing crisis. They can get as much food, much weekly food as they need. I would say after 10 vouchers, that's 10 weeks of food, I would have hoped that either we would have been able to help them, as in West Berkshire Foodbank, with debt management with Christians Against Poverty, or the Citizen Advice Bureau, or more complex issues with different support agencies. It's about people who are in food crisis. That's not a good place to be, and we need, as a society, to make sure that those people are supported and we get them out of food poverty. So the food bank is about catching them and then trying to help with all of the other agencies that we work with to make sure that these people are supported in the long term. So during those 10 weeks that you're with us, we are working with you, the client, to try and find out how else we can help. And then that's where we get referrers involved. So if you're with Sovereign Housing, the Tenancy Support Group, or social workers, or your school, children's school, that sort of thing. So we know that that client is getting supported as much as they can in their community. This isn't about the food bank saying, you've had enough food now, we don't want to feed you. It's about us saying to ourselves, okay, actually, are we doing the best by our clients? No, we're not. We need to get other people involved. We need to get this person more support.
Well, it's not just a quick fix for a few weeks. You're providing a long-term commitment to help these people get on their feet, which is incredible.
Absolutely. And if you go back to a referrer, if that referrer still sends you back to us, that's absolutely fine. And we will continue to support you.
Okay, so during this time where you've had this incredible increase in demand for your services, you've also had the challenge of having your normal channels of donation pulled out from under your feet. So churches, schools, supermarkets, they were your main channels of people donating, and they were taken away as soon as the lockdown happened. So how did you substitute for that?
Well, I think we can all remember right at the start of this going to the supermarkets and there was no toilet roll. And for the first 2 weeks of lockdown, I can remember putting my head in my hands numerous times, thinking, how are we going to do this? And the churches did step up as much as they could, and the schools, who had always supported us as much as they could. And then obviously the supermarkets, we got back to a little bit of normality. But I had a phone call from a lady called Leslie from Thatcham, who turned around and said, my business has got to be closed down. What can I do? And she came up with this idea, thank goodness, of Food Bank on your doorstep. So this is Leslie Wallace of Dream Doors in Thatcham. So the concept was, as everybody was at home and getting their food delivered to them at home, is we would come and pick up from your doorstep anything that you wanted to put out for us. So she got a big map of West Berkshire, she laid it out, she worked out all of the roads in different places, and then she started putting out on social media, can you help? Can you be a volunteer that will leaflet drop these 2 roads in your area with your mobile number on it? And then that person can call your mobile number and say, I've left 3 cans on the front doorstep, can you come and pick it up? So we could socially distance. People that were isolated felt that they were still helping. Leslie put little thank you notes with everything. So every time we picked up a donation, a little thank you note went through the front door. And it was a way of lots of volunteers getting involved, lots of people being able to donate and still feeling like they were doing something. And again, communities stepping up for communities. And this been the most amazing thing, as I think we've all done with the clapping for carers, getting to know our neighbours, and communities stepping up for communities. And Food Bank on your doorstep has been an amazing initiative that we will launch out sort of even further, I think, to churches. I'm trying to get the churches involved with the people, because they're talking about a lot of some of their elderly congregation will carry on staying at home now that they can do sort of Zoom church services. So again, so extending the hand of being able to give, and also the hand of being able to go there and collecting it, and having the wave at the end of the driveway, and how are you doing? So yes, it is an initiative I think that we will continue to grow.
Okay, so that's called Food Bank on Your Doorstep, and if anybody watching or listening to this would like to participate in that, can they contact you or Leslie?
Yeah, so it's Leslie at Dream Doors in Thatcham, or myself. My telephone number is 07836 500 610. Give me a call, tell me where you are, I can get you some leaflets, and you can start leaflet dropping and collecting for us as soon as you'd like.
So, because this is probably something that you'll continue, even if when your previous channels restart, you think you'll like to continue this method as well?
Absolutely. Talking to the supermarkets as I do, is they believe that the way we shop is changing and will change, and will be almost a permanent change as well. The people that hadn't sort of shopped and had home deliveries actually find that it's really quite convenient, and they believe that those will stay. So they're actually keeping all of the extra slots that they've added on. They are planning to keep in the long term. So if they are, we've got to change our model.
Yeah. I have to just ask, so did anybody put their hands up and says, yes, I did actually take a few more toilet rolls than I needed and I would like to donate them back? Did you get a few of those?
They did, which is, and bless them, is when you get the 24 packs of toilet rolls left on the front, that somebody did that when they went in. Yes, absolutely.
So normally before COVID, you would give your donations out via your distribution centres. So a recipient would travel to their nearest distribution centre and pick up their parcel and go home. But obviously that all stopped. And so you must have had an army of delivery people going to each household that you were donating to. That was quite a lot to organise.
We did. We had. We knew it was coming. Because we're obviously a Trussell Trust food bank. We knew what was coming. So we had about a week before lockdown where we actually moved warehouse. We had 3 small warehouses where we couldn't socially distance. Greenham Common Trust allowed us to move into a very large warehouse that allows us now to completely socially distance and work. So we actually moved the week before lockdown, and that was quite a big feat. And then all of those people that helped to actually move the warehouse, well then what else could we do? And because we have lovely links to the churches and the schools, is we had a lot of those people contacting the food bank saying, right, we're furloughed, what can we do? And a lot of those are still my drivers. And again, is a lot of companies are changing the way that they think. So even though my volunteers, a lot of them have gone back to their jobs, their companies are still giving them 2 afternoons a week to carry on with their volunteering, or so many hours here. And I've got probably 7 or 8 drivers now that have gone back to work that are still doing that because their companies allow them to do it.
That's really good to hear, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. It is, and this is that we're all in it together.
Yeah.
Which has been this amazing, community spirit and the spirit we're all in it together. And the generosity of people donating in West Berkshire has been amazing. Is we're talking about a fourfold increases. We used to ship out, this time last year it would probably be about 3.5 tons of food. I'm going to ship out 16 tons this month.
Over what, a month?
A month, 16 tons of food.
Blimey.
Exactly. We're talking very big numbers. We're talking about a lot of people who need support at the moment, because this is unprecedented. And
we were talking earlier about the sad fact how there is still people feel some shame or embarrassment that they need this help. But honestly, so many people in this, it's nobody's fault. It's not your fault if you're furloughed because of this blooming virus.
Absolutely. And you know, the single mums who, you know, they send their kids to school normally and then they work really, really hard, and then the kids come home, they do all the washing and all the ironing and everything else, who can't feed their kids for no fault of their own. You know, and they're actually the ones that will call first, because they'll put their children first and they'll call me. You know, so I'm worried about the people that, the older people, or the ones that, you know, maybe haven't got kids, and they just, that little bit extra is, we're here to help. Most of you have put something in a food bank bin at some point in your life, in that whole, you know, I've got extra, I'll just pop that in. This is what we're here for. We're here to support everybody.
And it's your time, it's your turn now to take.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, and I think everybody who is putting into food bank bins at the moment is doing it because they want to help. They know that lots of people are in this situation, as you say, which is no fault of your own, and it's so different from how the world normally is. I had a chef who was working in a Michelin-starred restaurant, who's talking to me, getting a food bank parcel. No, who would believe it? So we actually discussed what was the extra things that I needed to put in my food bank parcel, you know, which was garlic puree, tomato puree, salt, pepper and herbs. And they were sort of saying that will make a huge difference to what you can make. You know, and they're going to talk to me about, they're obviously working through some parcels, about whether they can do some exciting recipes for me. So I'll try and get those out on the Facebook page. You know, you wouldn't, the people that we're getting are everybody and anybody, you know, and I was talking to my husband. I think my husband will be somebody in the next couple of months that is going to lose his job. So it's a comfort for me to know that the food bank is there if I need it. And I could be one of those people that need it. And there should be no shame in asking for help when it is beyond your control.
Definitely. Well, I hope the recipes, just you saying, the chef the girl called Jack, she's, do you know Jack?
I don't.
Oh, she's this young lady, well, young woman now, who was on Food Bank for a long time, and she's written several recipe books all about on a shoestring and not wasting food. I'll send you the link.
Brilliant.
Because she's become a real media sensation, and you know, she's got no shame. You know, this is the life she had, the cards she was dealt, and she dealt with it and got through it by being very creative with the way she cooked. And hopefully, if we can encourage people to enjoy cooking and have the wherewithal to cook, that will help with the budget a bit and help with nutrition. And I think you said you were very keen that when you pick up from supermarkets, you get the bread that's, you know, near its sell-by date, but still obviously edible. But you're really keen that you get fruit and veg into all the parcels, the fresh veg.
Absolutely. So historically, all food bank parcels would be dried and canned goods. Now, I'm a mum myself, and I lived on a food parcel for a week to see if it was possible, because if I'm delivering that out to our clients, I have to know, and it isn't easy, but it is possible. But when you add a complete bag of fresh fruit and vegetables, which we do, so a big carrier bag, potatoes, onions, peppers, fruits, you know, so if I will either get that from Fair Share or Sophia, or, you know, we have been given a budget to help us out on COVID-19. So I will actually go and buy fresh, because for families, but also for, you know, I'm speaking to people that have got terrible illnesses, and so they haven't worked for a number of years, and then actually it's so much more expensive to buy food at the moment if you can't budget in the same way. And if you're fighting cancer, you need fresh fruit and vegetables. So that's absolutely key to how I want the food bank to progress in the future, and be, a completely nutritional, balanced diet. So we're working really, really hard. The trustees of West Berks Food Bank have given me their full support, and the supermarkets in the area have. And I'm now getting calls from people saying, I've got an abundance of this at my allotment. Can you have it? Absolutely. Yes, that will be wonderful. We bag it up. I put a little note on it saying that this has come from an allotment, so please wash. People can decide then if they want to use it or not, but they're going down like a storm.
That's fantastic. So again, an appeal for anybody who's growing and got surplus. I mean, we're nearly in runner bean season when everybody's got runner beans. They don't know what to do with courgettes. So again, they just can people just rock up at the warehouse, or do they need to contact you and get a person to pick it up?
No, is again, because I have the food bank on your doorstep. I've got people that can pick up things from all over the place, which is good. No, rock up at the warehouse. We're there Monday to Friday. In the mornings, we're obviously packing all of the food parcels. So we tend to leave about 12:30, and then everybody's starting delivering out then. And I try and give the volunteers a little bit of time off, because they're working hard, bless their hearts. So no, Monday to Friday, come before 12:30. Come and see what your local food bank is doing. The more people that I think I can get through the door are more likely to donate or start doing food bank on your doorstep, or volunteer for the food bank, or get involved. And it's, for me, it's joyous because you're surrounded by like-minded people who want to do the best for their community and are taking time out to do a good thing. So we don't have any grumps. We don't, everybody, it's a lovely place to be because you're with like-minded people. And so for me, it's really quite joyous to go into the warehouse. I like it.
Brilliant. Well done, Fran. I know that you're new to the role as project manager. Is that your title?
Yes.
So you've hit the ground running with this whole...
really fast, really. Yes, is I knew the role was coming up, and I wanted to apply for the role. So I knew about the role probably 6 months ago. I actually took the role the week before lockdown, and thankfully we had such a brilliant team in place. I couldn't have done any of this on my own. Please don't think it was me. Is the volunteer base that we have, Peter Collins, my warehouse manager, all of these people just rolled up their sleeves, and off we went, and we moved warehouse. We changed our model to home deliveries. We got volunteers involved. We ordered boxes. We send out 250 to 300 boxes a week. So all of, sending, because we had so many volunteers and so many were over 70, you can turn around and say to somebody, can you go and find me a box this size by this side and get me the best price for it, and go off and do that. So we were able to do that and have this just amazing team that works with us. And I've got very supportive trustees, as one of my trustees, until I could get somebody to help me with the cleaning in the warehouse. She's been coming and doing the loos in the warehouse, so, I've got hands-on trustees, and very supportive charities around me that have helped. Amanda and Julie at Waitrose, who've been brilliant to me. Meryl at Newbury Soup Kitchen, that's given me lots of advice and help. Loose ends give you ideas, and so where the food bank has obviously supported charities over the years, we support the Soup Kitchen and Loose Ends, is they were so keen to help me in my role of, have you thought about this, and would you do this, and would this make it easier? So it's such a collaborative group of people in all the areas. And then obviously all the community groups have been amazing, and if it wasn't for them, I think the food bank would be under a lot more pressure than it is, because the communities have stepped up for their own communities. So
people like the Lambourne Junction and all of
absolutely. Hungerford Self-Isolation Group. There's so many of them. Clears Group is these wonderful people who wanted to volunteer, who wanted to look after their own community, and have done that in spades. You know, they've been amazing. So well done to them. Is the food bank thanks you. I can get some sleep.
Well, it sounds like you're stretched to your limits, but you have been very flexible and you've expanded to meet the demand. So well done, you guys.
And we are ready, willing, and able. So, you know, if you need us, call the number. Is 01635 760 560. A friendly person will speak to you.
And is that within office hours, that number?
That is. So that's 8:30 to 6:30, Monday to Friday.
Okay.
You know, and if you called at 4 o'clock on a Friday and for whatever reason some tragedy had sort of struck, you know, these guys will ring me, and I've got volunteers that will go into the warehouse, we'll make up something special and we'll get it to you the next day. So, you know, we have lots of charities that you know, if people have come out of hospital or come out of prison, or there's been an issue with domestic violence or anything like that, they will contact us, and we can get parcels to you same day. You know,
okay.
So
otherwise
parcels are normally next day. So you'll call one day and you'll get the delivery the next day.
Okay. Well done, Fran. So that crisis number again, 01635 760 560. And is there a website with more information?
No, phone the crisis food line. That's the best. You can obviously go to the West Berks Food Bank, but that will actually just tell you to phone the crisis food line. If you want to volunteer, yes, please go to the West Berks Food Bank website. But otherwise, if you're in food crisis,
Okay. And I know that on the donation side, you often publish a list of the things you actually need at any specific time. Is that still the case?
We do. Actually, there is an app now. So if you go on your smartphone, if you look up Food Bank app, you go in there, you actually say that you want to look at West Berks Food Bank app, and we will update that weekly. Or if we have we've run out of size 5.5 nappies at the moment, so that will go on because I obviously need 5.5 nappies, so we can change that. Okay,
so you don't just give food. I mean, obviously,
no. So we give toiletries, so you know, shampoos, shower gels, sanitary wear, tenner ladies, and tenner gentlemen actually. We give out nappies, we have baby food. We don't tend to like baby formula, but we do have some because obviously that's very child specific. But again, if we have somebody that's in food crisis, I will go and buy it if you know, if needs be. We have cleaning products, so you know, for those people, if you can't afford your weekly shop, you're not going to be able to afford your toothpaste, your new toothbrush, and your toilet cleaner. You know, so if we get it donated and we have it, absolutely, we're more than happy to give it out. So yes, nappies, baby food, baby wipes, all of those sort of things are very normal to us.
Okay, and if somebody didn't have time to shop, you know, but wanted to give you money so you could go and shop, is that also possible?
Absolutely. Again, on our website is if you go via the Good Exchange, it obviously means that anything that you donate gets doubled. So that's always good to think about. Yes, we have. It's like we go round and we collect the government boxes that are delivered on a Tuesday and a Thursday in the area. So those boxes that are sent to the people that have been shielded, and a lot of people donate those back. And I'm often finding envelopes in those that have got a £10 or a £20 or a cheque in them of donated back. So yes, that's what we use for the fresh food at the supermarkets. But no, on our website is you can donate money, and on our Facebook page there's the link.
Okay. Brilliant, lovely. Well, thank you so much for your time, Fran. You're a busy lady, and it's just been heartwarming to hear what you've been doing, but you must be exhausted. But I'm glad you've got a great team around you. It's not all on your shoulders.
Oh no, I couldn't do it without the team, and actually mostly the team. Actually, you've just got to have somebody that just, you know, takes a little bit of the responsibility to dish it out. But no, my volunteers are fabulous.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.